Hello everyone and welcome to Against the Fence. My name's Sai.
I'm JK.
Yep, and we're going to be running down for you the UFC 277 event. We're going to be talking about Nunes versus PENA. Actually, the other way around, PENA versus Nunes, because if you remember earlier this year, there was a major upset. December last year, in fact. And we're going to be revisiting that bout once again. And also in the co-main, we've got Moreno versus Kai Kara-France.
This time, this one will be contested for the interim flyweight title. So exciting stuff. Winner moves on to fight Davison Figueiredo. Moreno will be wanting that fourth bout against Figueiredo. But,
Yeah,
let's see
still love to see it, right?
Yes.
Well, stay tuned. Plenty more to come.
Well, as I say, we're going to be breaking this main card down for you guys in a slightly different fashion to probably what you're used to hearing, really. We're going to be grading each fighter. We're going to be deciding who has the upper hand in 5 different categories: striking, grappling, power, speed, and cardio. So do play along with us. And as well, we're going to be listening to you guys as well. You guys have sent us some videos of your picks. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what you guys have put.
Absolutely, yeah. So drop your comments down in the comment section below. We'll be interacting with that as well throughout the show. So I'd love to hear what you guys got to be saying. But yeah, ultimately, this is not the show that tells you what to think. It teaches you how to think. So without further ado, let's get into the first fight of the card.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Magomed Ankalaev, who's going to be in the red corner, which is quite surprising, against Anthony Smith. Now, Magomed Ankalaev is coming off of 2 back-to-back wins off of guys who have also fought for the belt before. Anthony Smith has done so as well. So this could be a 3rd straight win against the former title challenger. He's recently beat Volkan Oezdemir, and he's also recently beat Thiago Santos. Now, on the other hand, Anthony Smith has had a little bit of a slightly different route. He's been fighting guys who are kind of looking to push their way up through the rankings. You know, he's fought the likes of Jimmy Crute. Obviously, Jimmy Crute kind of had that devastating leg accident.
Yeah.
But in his last outing, he fought Ryan Spann and looked phenomenal in that fight and got a submission win. So, yeah, I think there's a lot for Anthony Smith to kind of ride on in this fight. And when you look at the tail of the tape with both guys now, you've got the 1-inch height advantage just slightly for Anthony Smith. The record of Magomed Ankalaev, of course, stands out. Only 17 wins and 1 loss. Whereas Anthony Smith is the bit of a veteran out of the 2 fighters. He's been about for a long time now. The leg in reach kind of stands out for me for Magomed Ankalaev. That's kind of interesting. And the reach, slight reach advantage is not too much though for Anthony Smith, which is only by 1 inch.
Really just 1 inch in it on both as height and reach. So pretty much bounce around the same numbers. But let's have a look at what the people have to say about this.
Yeah,
we'll jump into some of the people's picks and we'll come right back where we can break it down, look a bit more as to where what the numbers say basically. The MMA maths, we'll check that out. But don't go anywhere.
Okay, well, now we have the main card. Well, I would say Ankalaev winning this one. First of all, mainly because I'm an Ankalaev fan, bias, yeah, you know. But at the same time, he has very, very high speed for that division. His striking is very clean as well. Obviously, if somebody have power, I realize he would try to wrestle a lot more. He can't really handle people with more power than him. Anthony Smith, on the other hand, has very crisp striking and stuff like that. He has very good output, but his defense is kind of skittish.
All right, thanks for sending your picks on in. So that was a pick from a good friend of ours. His Twitter handle's just there in the bottom left-hand side of the screen, so do feel free to hit him up for more opinions, but he's got a few on the show tonight. But we also, I didn't actually mention, we do have some guest appearances from some people that you guys are going to remember straight out of the UFC. Some fighters also have sent their picks in too, so we'll be seeing more of them a bit later on in the show when we get to the co-main / main events. But without further ado, let's talk about what we got here at hand. And Yeah, let's get into the numbers, right? In terms of when we're looking at who's got power advantage here, nothing massively stands out other than the sort of submissions numbers, which is really surprising. So you got something like Ankalaev, and this is what shocked me the most. He's got 0 submissions, but this guy loves to roll about on the ground. He grapples with grapplers, and he strikes with strikers.
Yeah.
You know? And yet he's got no subs of his own at the moment.
No, but for me, Anthony Smith is a prime example of a fighter in this division who's got a little bit of everything. So it's going to be a very intriguing matchup, really. Like, you know, when we look at Magomed Ankalaev's recent outings, Nikita Krylov, very heavy grappler, of course, took him down on the ground, held him down for quite some time. You know, he struck with Volkan Oezdemir for majority of the fight. He did score 1 takedown in that fight. I think it was in the 3rd round, but, you know, he outstruck him. And, of course, Thiago Santos as well. So, you know, the guy is a legit threat for the light heavyweight title, in my opinion.
He really is. And what an impressive record as well. What's his streak at the moment? So his last loss was against Paul Craig, and that was a devastating armbar. I don't know if you saw that fight. Very last seconds of that fight.
No, it was a triangle choke, but yeah, it
triangle
was
choke,
the dying seconds of that fight, yeah. Which he was winning.
Yeah.
Again, against the grappler for the majority of the fight.
Yeah.
But it comes down to that, you know, whoever can pull off the submission in the end of the day, and that was Paul Craig in that instance.
Did it in the very last minute. But yeah, if he just held in there for another like 2 seconds, yeah, he would have been an absolutely clean record. But an exciting fight, and I encourage you to go back, watch it back if you can. But on that striking front, look, landed per minute, you're looking at Ankalaev for being the guy for that. He's got an impressive output, significant strikes as well. He's got 54% to Anthony Smith's 47%, so not massively a lot in it. In terms of absorb per minute, Anthony Smith's absorbing a lot more. So in the stand-up, the numbers here spell Ankalaev to have the edge. I'm just looking at the numbers and how it pans out.
Yeah, I think he's just really good at utilizing his range as Ankalaev. And, you know, that's definitely going to be a factor that's going to be interesting coming into this bout.
It will be. Here's something else quite exciting, JK. The grappling. So remember you saw earlier, submission-wise, he's got none. And then you look at the numbers of submissions and you think, okay, Anthony Smith's better on the ground. But looking at this number, takedown average, Ankalaev has opted in for that far more. His combat sambo wrestling really comes into effect inside the octagon. And he uses it to smother, nullify weapons and smother his opponents and wear on them. And he does it so effectively, he doesn't need to submit them either. He just sort of uses that sort of wrestling ability to sort of get the advantage, maybe reset, and then sort of go back to doing some ground and pound down there as well. But yeah, in terms of where this fight's going to take place, because of Anthony Smith being able to submit, would it be too dangerous for Ankalaev to roll with him?
Yeah, I think it would. I mean, if anything, you're going to be looking at Anthony Smith potentially throwing things up from bottom, trying to submit Ankalaev. If Ankalaev was to get his first submission win against Anthony Smith, that would be insane. Wouldn't it? But I really can't see it. You know, I think it will be a lot of heavy top pressure, similar to Ankalaev, the Krylov fight. Sorry, and I think you mix things out well, effectively, and kind of ground out a decision.
But let's have a look at some of the gauges and see what they look like and see who we can edge this to. How's it looking? Who we're going to go with on striking? The numbers here would suggest it goes to Ankalaev.
Of course, yeah.
And I guess knockouts.
At the same time, you know, you look at Anthony Smith's resume: 20 knockouts and 14 submissions. You know, the guy's been insane. Now, how many of those have been in the UFC? Of course. Well, he stopped the likes of Mauricio Shogun Rua, former champion. He stopped Rashad Evans, former champion. Submitted Gustafsson, former title challenger as well. You know, the guy is really good at finishing fights and getting it done. So, you know, it's going to be difficult to gauge who's better in the striking. Come fight night, you know, like I said before, it could be Magomed Ankalaev because of his ability to utilize range. But, you know, you look at knockouts at the same time for Anthony Smith, he could very well get it done.
Yeah, these guys, 53% of their finishes are via knockout. I guess and looking at the numbers, significant strikes absorbed in the stand-up, I think... Oh, man, because also it's the kicks Anthony as well. Smith, those kicks from because remember his last fight against, who was it? Was it Rakic? Anthony Smith, and they're just kicking like tree trunks, like trees.
But I think Anthony Smith has got ability to kind of mix up his striking offense a little bit more than Ankalaev. So it's good. It's a
tough one actually.
I kind of want to give
If we go grappling for
Magomed Ankalaev, but then you've got the submission game of Anthony Smith. So yeah, come fight night, I would probably want to give the grappling edge to Magomed Ankalaev. I think his takedowns are a bit smoother.
Yep.
He's going to be his control on the ground is going to be amazing. And yeah, I can't really see Anthony Smith doing too much off of his back. So yeah, I think we'd give grappling for those reasons.
Yeah.
Striking Anthony Smith, but just out of creativity, really.
Yeah, we could go both ways with that, to be fair. But if we was to edge it with Anthony Smith, just a smidge. We can say that. In terms of power, this is difficult as well because they both got the same amount percentage of knockouts, 53% of our 53%. But what does the numbers say in terms of how many bouts they've had and how many knockouts they've had? So,
well, I mean, of course, like Anthony Smith's had way more fights, than Magomed Ankalaev. So of course that's going to kind of sway a bit. I think Anthony Smith is more of someone who's going to get the finish, to be honest, out of the two fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so you think the power should go to Ankalaev?
Yeah.
I would go the other way with that, But
sure, I think you wanted to do that in Magomed's last fight.
Yeah.
Against Ryan Spann. You wanted to go
Ryan Spann for power. Yeah, I mean, Superman Spann.
Not Ryan Spann.
It would have been Santos.
It was Uzumi, I think.
Uzumi?
No, Santos. It was Santos. Yeah.
So yeah, with Santos, Santos for power. I think. Yeah, I would have done that too. Speed wise, I would like to go Ankalaev. What would you go?
Yeah. I think Anthony Smith's a little bit on the flat-footed side of his approach in terms of on the feet and movement. Yeah, I think I fancy Ankalaev being a bit quicker.
And then cardio wise,
Anthony Smith, I reckon.
You think so? I think Ankalaev's got some good cardio.
He's gone the distance with John Jones.
He has.
He's had a few 5-round bouts.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have had more 5-round bouts as well, wouldn't he?
Did he go 5 rounds? Who else did he go 5 rounds with? He went 5 rounds with Teixeira. John Jones, of course, like I mentioned. That's it. I mean, of course, we've only seen Ankalaev in a 5-round fight once.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like the most, energetic of fights against Thiago Santos. The power of Santos was a big threat, and it was a slow-paced fight. But I think we'd give it Anthony Smith for those reasons.
Okay, well, that's the breakdown. The numbers would point in the direction of Ankalaev. For this fight, would like Ankalaev for it. I think his wrestling is just a bit of a problem, and also his speed would also be another problem. But I think Anthony Smith has those leg kicks, which he does certainly need to look out for. Should he not catch him and use them to take him down? I don't know. But interestingly enough, would you agree with how that looks, or would you go the other way?
Yeah, I think that's fairly... Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. But if you guys in the comments, feel free. If you disagree with us, let us know why. There's no harm in that.
We'll be engaging with that. Okay, awesome. So let's have a look at the next fight up. Pantoja versus Alex Perez.
Yes,
this is one of your
it's
barn burners.
It's a really intriguing fight because
it's one of your barn burners.
I mean, you've got Alejandro Pantoja, who's looked phenomenal as of recent. He's got back-to-back wins against Manuel Karp. Okay, Manuel Karp's a UFC debut, but he's a dangerous fighter nonetheless, and he's proven to shown that in this past year. And then, of course, he's coming off a win against Brandon Royval. Very talented grappler. Managed to get the rear naked choke on him, and really out-grappled Royval. So again,
he was under some threat on the ground against Royval as well, but he opted in for it still. You might have thought, get out of there, stay standing, but no, he had more faith in his grappling and his ground game over Brandon Royval.
He's knocked out the likes of Matt Schnell as well. As we saw a few weeks back, Matt Schnell is a very difficult guy to put away, and he done exactly that. So
that guy had a head of heart. Head of heart.
Yeah, and as on the other hand, we've got Alex Perez, who's been out for some time now. He's been very unlucky with bouts, a few dropouts here and there, a few injuries. He's been out since November 2020, and that was fighting the champ, Deiveson Figueiredo. Now, the belt's changed hands twice. Well, technically twice in that period. So, it's going to be interesting to see how he looks on the feet coming into this.
It's a long time. Do you believe in ring rust? I do.
Dominic Cruz doesn't. I think it has some kind of effect. Yeah, I think if you've been away for some time, it definitely takes its toll, I think.
It certainly does depend. I mean, although Amanda Nunes looked like she had ring rust the last time she fought, And she wasn't even out all that long.
No.
But okay, so let's those numbers there on the tail of the tape. We've got 25-5 for Pantoja, 24-6 for Alex Perez.
Very close,
isn't it? And then height advantage, not a huge amount in it, 1 inch once again. And then reach advantages doesn't really go any way particularly, but there's 1.5 there for Pantoja. Aside from that, let's see what the people have to say, and we'll come right back.
Go for it.
Awesome.
That is the thing, right? Alex, he has good striking, and plus he has a strong base. So that is why I'll pick Alex to win this one. And I think this one will be a decision. Because eventually, Alexandre going to start swinging while he going to try to pull guard, maybe. He might try for the takedown. But the thing is, Alex, on the other hand, he stays within himself. He has a strong base. He has good takedown defense,
All
Top
right.
stuff again.
Some good picks there. Thanks for sending that one through. Yeah, that was awesome. And look, as you can see there, he's gone with Pantoja.
Yeah,
sorry, Perez. He's gone Perez.
He's gone Perez. Well, I mean, that's interesting. I know. Again, Ash is really high on Alex Perez as well.
He is a big fan.
He's a big fan of his skill set and what he brings to the table. And his leg kicks are devastating. He's stopped people with them. That's how bad they are. That's how insane they are. It's not a bad pick, but
it's good to see him back, isn't it? Safe to say, it's really good to see him back.
It's going to be good to see him back eventually. Yeah. Fingers crossed, obviously, it still goes ahead.
Yeah. All right, so we're looking at some of the power there. Look at this. So you got 33% of finishes that have been stopped via KO with Pantoja.
Yeah.
To 21% of Alex Perez, which then puts attention on the submission ability, and Pantoja again comes out on top there.
Yeah.
And then decisions is Perez, who's the absolute warrior, who goes to decision 50% of the time. Now, as exciting as that is, this guy's been around for longer as well. Like he's been on the scene for time.
Yeah.
Looking at there now, significant strikes. I can't. This is why you said it was a good fight, I imagine, right? Because looking at the numbers here, there's no clean differentiator between the two. I mean, they're pretty much even in most areas. There's not a lot in it until you get to the grappling. And when you get to the grappling, it says that Alex Perez has a higher takedown average, which is really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it's purely because he's more predominantly the wrestler out of the two. So, of course, he's going to be getting those takedowns. Whereas Pantoja, a little bit more on the jiu-jitsu aspect of grappling.
He's got different ways of getting it done as well. And look, I think that's quite exciting to see because I think in most of Alex Perez's matchups, that's one of the problems he's able to bring to his fighting style.
Precisely.
It's the ability to sort of mix things up, chuck in that takedown, and just get people thinking and looking at more.
And his ground and pound's devastating as well.
Yeah.
To add to on top of it. So,
There it is. And then you're looking at how Pantoja fights and how he took the fight to Brandon Royval. You'd think that this guy is the one who's going to do more of the takedowns. So I guess this is a really interesting question. Will this fight stay standing up? Would it be lying down? And who gets to decide that?
Yeah, and it's difficult to say that they're both going to cancel each other out, really, because, Pantoja went at it fast against Royval and managed to drag him to the ground. So, yeah, I think when we get to the gauge, it's going to be interesting to go for.
Shall we have a look?
Yeah,
let's have a look at the numbers at the who gets what. Striking.
I mean, striking wise, on one hand, you've got Alex Perez, who's got 5 knockouts to his name. For Pantoja, he's got 8 knockouts to his name and 9 submissions. So, you've got more of a finish rate there for Pantoja. It's so difficult to call.
We'll have to give the striking. Maybe we could go striking and power. One gets striking, one gets power.
Power is I think Perez all day.
Yeah,
I think that's a clear one.
All right, Perez will get the power, and when it comes to striking, we could probably go Pantoja with it based on the fact that he.
And plus, I think he's Pantoja is a little bit more calculated in his game. He kind of fought Manel Karp at his game. And was a little bit more calculated. He took a bit more of a tried to take a bit more of a counter punching approach in that fight, which is, similar to what Manel Karp can do. So, I think if fighter IQ was on here, I'd definitely give it to Pantoja. And I think Pantoja's fighter IQ might just edge him into the striking aspects of this game.
It would be a really good addition for Fight IQ. Sometimes it's really hard to see whether to see what people are thinking or whether did you do that by accident or was that all crafted and planned? Sometimes you get that, don't you? But we'll go striking for Pantoja on that one to start with, and for grappling, would we award that to Pantoja again?
Pantoja, yeah. And I mean, like we said, Perez has got that wrestling base, and he's good at controlling people and utilizing his ground and pound. But I think Pantoja is just so slick, man. Especially when you look back at that Royal performance.
And when you go to speed.
Speed. Do you know what? Thing is, both guys they're capable of fighting at highest pace.
I mean,
we'll start off the fight at a chaotic pace. But overall speed, I kind of want to give it to Pantoja purely because I think the speed aspect of his game, what we saw in that Royal, how quick he's able to take the back and things like that. And I think he's going to be coming in a little bit more leaner than Perez. So I think I fancy his speed on the feet.
That's what was quite exciting about this flyweight division, though, isn't it? It's just they are fast.
Yeah.
You get to see some more technical.
It's hard to pin down who is the fastest.
You get to see things that you won't actually see in a heavyweight fight. I mean, knockouts may become a little less frequently, of course, but you get some pretty exciting technical stuff. But speed we're on Pantoja on, and then cardio. It's hard to see what Perez is going to be like after being out for so long, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if we get the numbers for the average fight time, perhaps that might be able to help us.
Ash is going to help haters for putting the most on Pantoja there. But I think, when you look at the types of people that Pantoja's beaten as well, it's you can see why.
Yeah.
But cardio is a different one. Difficult one.
Average fight time 10 minutes 48 for Pantoja, 6:17 for Perez. It looks like Pantoja in favor. Knockdown average Pantoja. Were you thinking about going Pantoja?
For cardio, I kind of was.
Yeah. He does look good after 3 still. He's there. Alex Perez is as well. It's actually, could we give it to both? I don't know.
I mean, not only that, is Perez has got a lot of, he's only been to decision twice in his UFC career. So it's, it's difficult to see. I can't cast my mind back to that Mark De La Rosa fight and see what he was like in round 3, to be honest. It's difficult. I can't really remember it.
All right. Then in that case, we'll have to...
We'll give it...
Perez.
I think... You're going to give it to Perez? We
let Perez have it. We haven't seen Pantoja over the 3 rounds for that often. He doesn't often have to go that far.
True.
Although he does have a higher fight time, which is baffling for me.
Yeah. Manuel Carp went to a decision against him. Brandon Moreno went to a decision and won.
Yeah.
I can't remember what that fight was like at the top of my head either. It's just depending on the pace of the fight. It's like, the Manuel Carp fight wasn't particularly at a high pace. I think he still looked pretty good in round 3.
Yeah. Well, I guess also, if there's any other saving grace, the fact that Perez has like the most decisions as well. 50% of his wins come by decision. He's got to be performing pretty well in those later rounds.
You think so? Yeah.
So we'll let numbers sort of pick on that one. Although we tend to think it might go Pantoja. The numbers are spoken. We're sticking there with Perez on there. But let's have a look then at how that looks. So it's sides on Pantoja's side, 3-2. Let's hear what your comments are down there in the chats as well. But would you agree with that, or would you just say screw the numbers? Perez is having this one.
Yeah. Let us know. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Heavyweights.
Let's get into that. So we got Derek Lewis and Sergey Pavlovich. These 2 big heavyweight bruisers going at it. The Black Beast versus the Russian. We don't have a name. He hasn't got a nickname. but then height-wise, they're both the same. Reach-wise, there's not a lot in it. Well, actually, no, there is. Yeah, 84 inches for... so it's 5-inch reach advantage for Pavlovich. There's a lot in that.
That's quite interesting.
What you got on these 2?
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, for Derek Lewis, we can talk about the fact that he is fighting in Houston, Texas again, and his record in Houston, Texas hasn't been very good as of late. He's in the last year or 2, he's been having fights against, these technical strikers. Rugan was an example, of course, and falling on the short straw in that fight. He then was like, you know what, I want these heavy hitters. Knocked out Chris Daukaus in impressive fashion. And then the UFC were like, okay, we'll give you another heavy hitter in Taito Avasa. But I think Taito Avasa in that fight was kind of somebody who, you know, had more to win in this fight. You know, there was much more leaning towards him getting the win and against Derek Lewis, a big name. For Derek Lewis, it's kind of like, well, you know, I've had my opportunities in the division. So, you know.
He was sitting at third, right? Or fourth?
Huh?
Derek Lewis was sitting at fourth at the time, third or fourth
Yeah,
at the time.
yeah. Third,
And
I think.
Taito Avasa did a unjustly jump
Yeah.
to the third position.
Exactly. I'm not surprised. I think I even picked him in that fight as well.
Yeah, wow.
think-
I mean, it was the one that upset the apple cart, though, wasn't it? It wasn't expected. If you're going with Taito Avasa, you're swimming upstream at the time. But you know, it was insane. It was almost like after Derek Lewis delivered the storm, and Taito Avasa amazingly weathered it. His chin held in there after some heavy strikes from Lewis. It shouldn't have. No one else usually does see that far, but Taito Avasa did. But after he weathered the storm, he found his advantages against Lewis on the other side, where fatigue kicked in, and he was in his recharge time, and he wasn't fully. And it literally just took a bit. It was almost like a flick in comparison to what he had eaten.
Yeah,
he just delivered an elbow, and you know, he toppled him. And it was just one strike. I thought he'd be in there for a little bit more, but it was just a case of he picked his attack at the right time. Now, let's see what the people had to say about this one.
Well,
I
as
think
for
we had
Sergey Pavlovich, we should probably touch upon the fact that he's coming off of 3 back-to-back knockout wins against Marcelo Golm, Maurice Green, and Shamil Abdurakhimov. That Abdurakhimov one was devastating and very impressive win. Now, his only loss in his career was against the veteran in Alistair Overeem. So now he's taking a very seasoned vet once again, and can he pass the test?
Interesting. He's coming on a 3-fight win streak.
Yeah,
looking good. All right, then. Let's see what the people had to say about this one. I think we've got some interesting new picks on this one, and then we'll come right on back.
all right.
What's going on against the fence? It's your boy Patrick, aka Addicted to Combat, talking Derek Lewis versus Sergey Pavlovich. A tough matchup for Derek Lewis. He is the older man by 7 years, the shorter man by an inch, and he's lacking about 5 inches of reach. So a very rare mixture of disadvantages for Derek Lewis, a guy who's often losing the fight until he wins. Usually very low striking output, not the best cardio, and he really has to just find the right punch to land to win the fight, but he's done it time and time again. Will he do it against Sergey Pavlovich? I think he's got one thing going for him. He is 3-0 against Russian opponents, is Derek Lewis. He beat Alexei Oleinik, he beat Alexander Volkov, and he beat Shamil Abdurakhimov. I think he'll add one more name to that list of Russians that he is undefeated against, and that is Sergey Pavlovich. Give me Derek Lewis round 1 knockout.
Love Patrick, man. Absolute studs.
Always gets me excited. Always does. Legitimately. If you want to check him out, you got Addicted to Combat Addict down there as well. Number 1 for his Twitter channels, but he's got his YouTube channel and he's on Instagram too. So hit him up.
Pulling in the stats picks about the Black Bees, undefeated against Russians.
Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that. So your stat was that he doesn't do well in Austin, Texas.
Yep.
And so he's got 2 numbers working against him. He hasn't won in Austin, Texas. 2 bouts. And he hasn't lost against a Russian.
Yep.
So what happens when those 2 ultimatums collide? So I wonder what the outcome will be.
Find out.
We will. We certainly will. So in terms of looking at the numbers then, so wins by, you know, these are heavyweight bruisers now. We was talking earlier about the difference between, you know, flyweights fighting in the octagon, where we see more technical, proficient striking, and the heavyweights going at it. And this is the difference. It is a knockout rate. 80% of their finishes come by way of knockout for each side. Absolutely, it's amazing. Submission on Derek Lewis as well on the left hand side there. So you know, he doesn't do too much on decision. Decision will probably edge a little bit more towards Pavlovich. He's got 20% there decision wise, but you know, these gauges are pretty much similar, very similar. Significant strike wise, output wise, landed per minute, you can go with Pavlovich on that all day. Significant strikes themselves, 50-50 down the middle. But if you look at the striking and who's got the advantage in stand up striking, it says Pavlovich.
Yep.
You know, it leans in his favor. He's got the longer reach. He's got that jab. He can put people on the end of that, and then popping that jab is often a problem in most of his matches up. But then we get into the grappling, and we are swiveling the exact opposite way. It goes straight to Derek Lewis. I mean, not by a large margin. These are heavyweights, by the way, so they like to use their hands far more often. in which case, it just sort of edges out to see, no, Derek Lewis has a few more takedowns. He's got a submission as well in his record.
Yeah. Powerful.
And Pavlovich does not. He has a lot of faith in his hand, Pavlovich, quite much a boxer. All right, so let's have a look at the gauge. Striking wise, I can tell you Pavlovich is all hands. All hands. Derek Lewis.
Mate, he's got flying knees in his back pocket.
Pavlovich. Derek Lewis does.
Lewis.
Yeah. Derek Lewis does. Derek Lewis.
Don't always land, but he
strikes
third
different.
round.
Derek Lewis, he strikes, he uses knees, he uses hands. He's got a bit more diversity in striking, whereas you got his hands connect far more. You're looking at Pavlovich. So who do we give striking to?
Oof.
It's hard. It's a tough one. Do we prioritize diversity? In these situations, we probably just got to let the numbers do the talking.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for this fight, cardio might come into a bit of a factor.
In which case, you can go and do one if you think I'm going to give cardio to Lewis.
Well, yeah, exactly. I know. I mean, I honestly don't know. Striking wise, who hits harder? Power. Let's do power first.
Power, yeah. Okay, good shout. Power wise,
I think it's probably
edges
safe
for
to say.
Derek Lewis, and I think we gotta say Derek Lewis. I mean, everyone's afraid of that.
He's got that
power.
one punch kind of knockout power, isn't he? I think Pavlovich, isn't he got quite a few TKO wins? So a lot of where he just takes people down. I'm pretty sure he finished Abdurrahimov on the ground. So yeah, I think in terms of overall knockout power, I'd probably give it to Derek Lewis.
Yeah, I'll do that as well. And then speed wise, I think we could. Oh, it's so hard. Let's go up to striking again. I don't know actually, because those kicks come fast. Those kicks come fast.
Because power is such a big aspect of Derek Lewis's game, and he does kind of occasionally mix up the odd strike or two. It kind of makes me want to favour Derek Lewis for overall striking.
Yeah,
because of that reason.
As in, when you're in the octagon and they're facing each other, what's Pavlovich going to be most cautious of? Is it going to be Derek Lewis's wrestling, or is it going to be his striking?
Of course, it's going to be striking.
And vice versa. Is Derek Lewis going to be most cautious of anything else that's going to come from Pavlovich? I think this is just his jab. Okay. So we'll go striking Derek Lewis.
Yeah. And
we'll justify that by saying the fact that he has leg kicks, he's got flying knees, he can diversify it a lot more. Pavlovich is purely just jab and that heavy right hand over the top. And he does neglect most, if not all, other weapons.
Yeah.
Grappling wise,
have a look at.
This is not going to be a grappling affair, as you correctly said. The numbers would say Derek Lewis has put it on the ground before. I can't find a way of justifying Pavlovich getting it on the ground at all. So
nah.
I think we'd have to go grappling wise for Derek Lewis. Speed wise, I could sit with Pavlovich on that one. That it's just the illusion, isn't it? With those long limbs.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're covering a lot of distance with one strike, it looks like you're traveling faster. It looks like you're the quicker striker. So whether he actually is or not, the fact he can cover a lot more distance quicker than Lewis can, it looks, we'll go speed over that side. And cardio as well, like I said, it's not going to go to Lewis.
No.
Now, in terms of fighter IQ, Lewis might kick you in the balls so he can breathe for a little bit. He might smartly poke you in the eye, exactly, just so he can recharge. Lewis could do that. But yeah. Look, that's quite interesting. It's interesting because striking could have gone either side. If striking had gone to Pavlovich, then we're looking at a complete different gauge. We're looking at favor Pavlovich, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But this way out, could you side with what those numbers look like? Could you agree with Derek Lewis? Do you think that's where the advantage is, or do you think these numbers are just let's go Pavlovich?
Let us know.
Exactly. Next one up. Shall we check it out?
Yes.
So this is the battle of the replays.
Yeah,
we're running it back. We're running all these running back.
It's kind of a bit of a refreshing fight, I think, for Brandon Moreno. Now, of course, he's fought Kai France before, but, his last 3 outings have all been the same person. So, I think it's a good thing,
In 4 fights, he fought 2 people.
A draw, a win, and a loss against David Figueiredo. So, and then but before that, he TKO'd Brandon Royval. Again, he's great for his grappling, as we mentioned before.
Yep.
Jasir Formiga went to decision against him. And then, of course, before that was the win against Kai Kara France, which was back in 2019.
Yep.
So I think both guys have improved drastically since that time. And I think it's going to be a much more intriguing fight.
Yeah. I can see now the promo for Figueiredo and Moreno's fourth. It'll be one fighter, 3 different outcomes.
Yep.
You know, one octagon.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But the numbers there, right? Taylor the tape, it says 19-6 for Brandon Moreno. Then you got Kai Kara France at 24-9. And then, of course, you're looking at the height. There's not really... Moreno's taller, just by a little bit, by 3. And then you've got the reach advantage going to Moreno again just by 1. Really. It's fairly close. It's fairly close. You tend to find as well, not only that on the advantage of height's not too much of an advantage because these guys, they kind of have a low center of gravity when they fight anyway. So they kind of like spread the legs and sort of crouch quite low. So they're actually smaller than this when fighting. Yeah. This is standing tall. So yeah, look, there's not a lot in it. You're absolutely right. If we were to see what the people had to say and then come back to do the rest of it, that would make more sense.
All right, let's see what I got.
Let's do it. Next one up, co-main on a card.
Kai. So I think I'm gonna go with he's kind of like on a hype train. I kind of want to go with him.
That's gonna be fun. You reckon he's gonna catch him?
I think people are gonna say Brandon Moreno wins, right?
Yeah, I think
people would be saying. Yeah, people would be saying.
He's gonna say the favorite. I'm gonna go.
He's done more 5 rounds.
Yeah.
The cardio.
But I feel like Kai getting this opportunity, he's not gonna take it lightly. He's always bringing the heat, so I think he's gonna train even harder to get ready for this fight.
Yeah, he's on a bit of a wave.
I think he'll have what it takes to take it.
The rematch between Kai Kara France and Brandon Moreno. I gotta be honest, I think Brandon Moreno takes this one once again like he did the first time they fought. This guy has won and lost the championship since they last fought. Kai Kara France still never been to a 5th round. You know, tends to slow down a little bit if I'm being honest, whereas Brandon Moreno, the speed and power on his strikes looks just the same in round 1 as it does in round 5. This guy's cardio does not fade, and what I like about his striking style is that he never gives up the center of the octagon, never gets backed up. Kai Kara France will be the one that's forced to backpedal, counter strike off of his back foot and circle around unless he wants to trade at close range with Brandon Moreno, who I think will get the better of the exchanges there. So Kai Kara France definitely very great unpredictable strikes. He's definitely the more diverse striker, goes to the legs, the body, and the head. Brandon Moreno mostly a headhunter with his boxing and combinations, but I think it's enough. And the later this fight goes, the more tired Kai Kara France gets. I think the worse his takedown defense will get as well. So look for Brandon Moreno to grapple in the later rounds to secure himself a 5-round decision victory.
Co-main event then, Brandon Moreno versus Kai Kara France. Who's taking it?
Brandon Moreno. Yeah. Slapping on that with naked choke.
Ooh, rear naked choke. Which round?
I would say 2nd or 3rd.
Some exciting picks there. We had Kai Kara France for Mike Davis. Then we had Brandon Moreno for across the rest, didn't we?
Patrick,
Patrick,
yeah.
And of course for Adrian Yanez. So I told you you'll see some familiar faces, some fighters out of the UFC. Mike and Adrian Yanez. Again, shout out to you guys for jumping on the channel with the fighter Q&As. We love the content, love the chats, and thanks again for chiming in with those picks for the People's Pick Show as well. So a little treat for you guys. There's more of them to come. I promise you that. So we have to look at...
Let's go into the gauges. I mean, Addicted to Combat made some really, really good points there.
He did.
Yeah, he was kind of right in terms of Kai's diverse striking aspects. Although, Brandon Moreno does like to invest in the body himself, but does like to hunt for the head. I think it's kind of clear in terms of the cardio. Mexican cardio is always a thing.
It's another thing, isn't it? I'm excited just to give cardio a big, heavy slap on Moreno.
Yeah, I think so.
Shall we check it? Striking wise, should I go from bottom up?
Yeah, go on. Cardio,
cardio. We know that one for sure. I mean, the heart of this guy, if you've not seen him fight the 5 rounds he's fought, go and watch him fight the 5 round he's fought. Simple as that. It's really good. And then speed wise,
who did we see? It's really tough again because it's another flyweight bout.
Not a lot in reach, and the speed is there. With these guys, it's hard to really differentiate because they're both fast with their hands.
I know, which then, makes me think of other aspects as well.
Shall we come back to this one after striking?
Yeah, let me have a bit more think about it. But
For power,
I kind of want to go Kai as well. I mean, he has 11 knockout wins.
46% of his wins are knockouts.
Impressive.
Yeah, 11, that's good.
Whereas I think Brandon Moreno's on the other hand
16% of his knockout wins come by knockout.
3 knockouts. So yeah, I think power aspect is pretty clear there for Kai.
Yeah.
Of course, for me, Kai France is on a bit of a wave right now.
He really is.
In my opinion, beating former champion Cody Garbrandt.
Huge.
Of course. I think the win
gap.
against Askarov was a phenomenal performance because could easily have counted him out against Askar because, again, he was on a bit of a wave himself. Dominant grappler, very very good in all areas as well. Beat him decisively.
I think Askar was a perfect stepping stone for Moreno. That was a perfect fight. He needed to see how he fared in those scenarios before fighting someone like Moreno again.
Yeah.
And this is why it's going to make it a little bit hard because it's easy to see a fight the first time round and say, it goes the same way. But that fight against Askar Askarov shows clear improvement from Kai Kara-France.
Yes.
And Kai Kara-France has been showing clear improvements over his last bouts against Cody and all that.
He needs to come into this fight with the same level of confidence, basically, I think, in order to give Moreno a really good test. Again, it's going to be interesting to see what Moreno's mindset is like come fight night as well, of course. He's going to be hunting to try and get that belt back nonetheless, but, he's coming off a loss. It's a little bit upsetting, of course, but it's going to be interesting to see how he bounces back.
It would be. So we look at striking wise. No, so we've got grappling next, haven't we? Grappling, I'd have to go Moreno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty fair.
Although we've seen Kai Kara-France hold his own down there.
Kai's got 3 submission victories on his resume. Brandon Moreno, on the other hand, has got 11. It's pretty, and he's obviously tapped out the current champ, so I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah. And then when you get to striking, I'm looking here at the numbers, right? Now, I'm a little bit baffled by this. Kai Kara-France strikes me as, I did it on purpose, yes, pun intended, so someone who does tend to throw his hands less and rely more on his power and his counter abilities. But here, look at the numbers. It says that he's landed more per minute than Moreno does. That cannot be right. 4.84 versus 3.54. It doesn't add up for me.
Yeah, I guess the numbers can differentiate if someone has had more bouts in the UFC than the other person.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess there is that aspect of it as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's going to be a bit difficult to...
But it's in the last fight that they had, it was Moreno that had the output. And Moreno tends to have the output as well, especially against Figueiredo. He's always putting a jab in your face. But, using pressure as a weapon. And that was, you saw in the last fight that they had, first round, they was really sort of feeling each other out. But as soon as Moreno went back to his corner, got some advice and came back second and third, he actually was able to apply pressure, and that was his biggest weapon. And for Kai Kara-France, it just sort of declined from that point, really. But it was that forward pressure, and it was that constant output. And it was quite exciting as well. Is Moreno always had the grappling aspect in his arsenal? He always had that, although he didn't need to deploy it. He wasn't put in that position where he had to lean on his grappling.
No.
So this time out, I think Kai Kara-France has got better to a point that he might have to really use everything at his expense at his disposal to get the job done.
He's going to be trying some stuff to get takedowns, I think, in this fight.
I think Moreno is going to have to sort of add that, pepper that one in here as well to make a difference.
Moreno's going to wear on Kai and at least try and look for maybe a late finish. So for me, for Kai's got to get done by knockout, but then Moreno's never been knocked out. He's never been finished.
There we go.
It's difficult.
Now, if I was to say one of these guys gets striking, one of these guys gets speed, who gets what? I would think striking Moreno, speed Kai, but I could go the other way too.
I don't know, but then Kai comes from that city kickboxing camp, doesn't he? They're very durable fighters. Izzy's there, Dan Hooker's there. Guys with such diverse skill set. Brandon Moreno, though, for his striking, it's just his IQ is so good.
Yeah, that's what it is, right?
His abilities to counter.
I tell you what, I saw some IQ coming out of Kai Kara-France in that Askarov fight as well.
Yes,
some really good IQ, some strong IQ. And again, it's just testament to how this guy has evolved since their first dance in the octagon. So exciting and so interesting. I'll go. Yeah, I would happily go striking on Moreno. Would you agree?
I don't know.
It's hard, yeah.
Yeah.
I would do that.
Okay.
Is that too absurd? Let us know in the chats if that's too absurd.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, it's debatable for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know if you disagree.
Absolutely. But no, it's interesting. And Moreno won it the first time. He went back to his corner, learned something, he took up some advice, and he came out second, third, and applied that advice. And ultimately, he listens well, he trains well, and he's improving. And so is Kai Kara France. So this is going to be it's not going to be the same fight. And if the first fight was such fireworks, I imagine what could come next. What could come in this one. It should be good.
We're here.
Oh,
The rematch for the women's
rerun.
bantamweight title.
yes.
Man. Where do we start?
Yeah. Last time we was here, Nunes versus Pena. This time we're here, it's Pena versus Nunes. It's gone back the other way here because she is holding the belt for this division herself.
Yeah, of course. You've got Juliana Pena on a 2-fight win streak. She beat Sarah McMahon by submission, and then she beat the featherweight champ, still current for a featherweight champ, Amanda Nunes. So she's got some good submission games as Juliana Pena. She's got great cardio as well. Amanda Nunes, like I said before the first fight, I said, it's going to become a time where someone takes her out, and at a time where she could be 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door, not quite as hungry as she used to be. And, we saw that in that last fight.
Yeah.
So it's all to play for in this fight. It's just whether or not she can bounce back and she still has that drive.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
But as the stats go, much more experience, of course, for Amanda Nunes. Height advantage against Pena. Reach is pretty much the same. Slight leg reach for Amanda Nunes, but that's about it.
Yep.
Close.
Literally. And again, I guess let's quickly pop out then and see what the people would say about this matchup, and then we can come back and some of the numbers for it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a fight. My last thoughts on this one, just before we do go to that page, is I just hope the Lioness comes prepared for this one. Yeah. I think the last one was a story of complacency.
I mean, and you're only as good as your last fight, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's gonna be interesting when we get into it.
It's see who's got the most to prove.
Another rematch in the main event of the evening. This is Juliana Pena making her first defense against Amanda Nunes. We get to see if the first fight was a fluke, or maybe Amanda Nunes comes back to her former self. And I think that that's going to happen. I think Amanda Nunes comes back, fixes the mistakes. Maybe she overlooked Juliana Pena. Maybe it was a bad weight cut. She had not been to 135 in a couple years before she took that fight. So a lot of questions to be answered, but I think we expect a slow, patient Amanda Nunes, something we don't often see. She usually expects her opponents to wilt under the pressure of her striking aggression, her power, and I just don't think she's going to do that in this fight. Her worst fear would be gassing out like she did in December. So I expect this fight to actually go late, maybe over the 2.5 round mark. If you're betting on it, that's the bet that I'm making. So I expect Amanda Nunes to just win minutes on the clock, outpoint Juliana Pena from the outside. She does still have that power. She still has better striking. So if she can just avoid the grappling, have good takedown defense, and stay at range, I think she wins this fight and gets her second belt back. Give me Amanda Nunes to win.
Who have you got for Juliana Pena and Amanda Nunes?
I got, hold on, I'm gonna go Juliana Pena.
Ooh. How do you think she gets it done?
And you know what? I think it goes into the third or fourth, and I don't have the trust that that Amanda Nunes is gonna keep up with her cardio. I think she's towards the end of that, like the end of her career, and she's kind of just losing a little bit of steam. And like I feel like Juliana Pena is still hungry, still has something to prove.
Yes.
So I think she's gonna go out there and put a pace on her.
Yeah.
Third and fourth, I think that's when she gets it done. I think it's gonna be by submission again.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with that, really, because like you're saying that Juliana is more hungry. I think that Nunes has lost that hunger, if you know what I mean.
Could she have one foot out the door type thing?
I think potentially she does have 1 foot out the door. Yeah.
On the main card of UFC 277, who do you think is going to walk away with the W, and how?
I think it'll be Amanda Nunes. Saw that she was repetitively getting jabbed in the face and not doing anything about it. So she hopefully she worked on it and can come together with kind of moving her head, maybe slipping, maybe countering. Otherwise, if she gets jabbed to death again, I swear it's gonna be a bad night.
All right.
It's good, huh? Some solid picks there. Some real solid picks. And I think it was Mike who went Pena, and then the other guys sort of settled down on Nunes. And it was pretty much the same story as well, wasn't it? It was just the fact that they think that she had a bit of an off night, Nunes. The weight cut, it could have been complacency, and she wasn't herself. And I was baffled at how emotional she got in that fight. She did not fight like a champion at all.
No.
And she just got unraveled by that jab.
Yeah, I think maybe the weight cut was a bit of a factor last time around. But I saw a picture of her earlier. I tell you what, she looks in great shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you even more excited for this fight, in my opinion. You know, it's gonna be interesting.
God, that's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. All right then, and let's have a look here. We got the wins by, knockouts by, subs by. Advantages wise, submissions on the ground. It says this is interesting though, right? Because in the last matchup, I think we were right here talking about it as well. We said the advantage that Pena's going to have against Nunes was going to be on the ground in the grappling.
Right.
Now, in the first round of the last fight, Nunes had a bit of an answer for Amanda's attempts. Sorry, that's the same person, isn't it? Pena's attempts.
Yeah.
Now, of course, in the second round, yes, she got the sub. However, it was at the back end of it was just because of the striking. That jab unraveled her, wobbled her, and I don't even think that arm was fully sunk in. You know, that was a tap out quit.
Yeah, she was completely gassed out, and it was because of that reason. Juliana was attempting the takedowns, but I think one of the things we've not gotten here is strength, and I think Amanda's strength was,
compromised.
No, I think she was able to sort of stuff the takedowns. I think it was due to her natural strength. But then it was the pace that Pena put on her, plus trying to drain her. Because those takedown attempts do take it out of you, especially when you're stuffing them. So it was like a knock-on effect. Yeah. It all played dividends to the demise of Nunes, in my opinion.
Yeah, true. That whole cardio sort of fatigue. It's from second round though. I was dead surprised it came that soon. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think Amanda had the intention of going the distance with her either.
Because on paper, Amanda Nunes she should be on the ground plate.
Yeah, and she was so good on the ground in the first round. She was really good. Amanda Nunes was. So, but yeah, looking here, it says in these numbers, it says the striking goes to someone like Pena. That looks like it sort of bodes in her favor more so in terms of landed per minute. Unfortunately, absorb per minute as well is a little bit higher, but it's not too much in it there. But in terms of output, Pena's got it. She's got that jab, which I think she got most of that on that last fight. To be fair, the output. Grappling wise, it looks fairly fair. Takedown defense from someone like Pena is just strong and it's there. Someone like Amanda Nunes, not a very strong takedown defense. She can hold her own down on the ground as well. But submission average, she does slightly edge that as well. So, it's quite close here in the grappling department. Although in the last fight, we did see Amanda win in those areas in the first it was only really a first round to talk about the grappling. Yeah. The second round where Pena got the submission, it was really just a finisher to the hands. The hands did all of the work, and the submission just got the finish at the very end. But let's look at the gauges then and see how this one sort of would go in terms of who gets the advantage this time around. Would it be the same as what we saw when we sort of came here last time? I'd be interested to see. But at the same time as well, what have these guys been working on? What are we confident is going to be different this time around? Here they are. Gauges at the ready. Striking. Numbers would say.
I mean, Juliana was obviously really effective at utilizing the jab in the last fight. Overall striking skill set. Yeah, last time we gave it to Amanda, I think it's pretty clear. Especially on paper. Yeah. The striking and grappling aspects.
It should go Pena's way on paper.
When cardio comes into effect, that's when most of them go out the window, and I think that's pretty much the reason why Pena was able to get the win when she down. Now, I don't want to rule her out as such, like we did last time. She's going to be out to prove us wrong again. She is an underdog again, which is, brutal. Yeah. In the bookies' senses.
I've just realised I've done a bit of a boo-boo. the whole time looking at the blue and red, I assumed Amanda was on the left again.
Oh,
I did, yeah.
Muppet.
So looking at the striking, of course, it is
Of course, Amanda.
Amanda, and the grappling it is
Right.
Pena. Yeah, I did the. Yeah, it's I still hasn't sunk in that the upset that happened in the second last year. It still hasn't sunk in my mind. They're just running it back for fun. And okay, my bad. But yeah, striking here. The numbers do seem to lean with Amanda. 62% of her finishes do come by TKO and knockout. And submission-wise, 50% of her finishes are by submission. That's Pena. And decision-wise, 25% again with Pena-wise. So yeah, I hear it. That's why last time we said Pena gets the advantages in the grappling. And the numbers do now make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's better. Yeah, I mean, I'd still want to give those aspects to Amanda Nunes, and I think a lot of people would probably agree. As crazy as it is, but yeah, I think the cardio was the big factor in that, and I would probably give cardio to Pena still.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So looking at that, I mean, it's a question of natural weight class as well, isn't it? That's where the advantages tend to lie. So cardio, we're going with Pena. Speed, would we go?
I actually want to go Pena on speed.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Go on, girl.
Yeah, I think so. I think she's quite quick on the feet.
Power, I would sit with Nunes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grappling wise.
Grappling, I still give Nunes.
You give the Nunes.
Still, yeah.
Yeah, just because she's quite muscular.
Strong.
She can muscle away on top. And when they're both fresh fighters and supposedly at their best in round one, who had who looked better? Yeah, it was Amanda. Striking now, I think it is. So we said knockouts are clearly in favor of Nunes. The numbers also lean in favor of Nunes.
Hooks to a game.
She does. Very high guard as well.
Yeah.
I think this might be exactly how it looked the first time round when we were here. Although I don't know if we settled on cardio for Pena. I think we might have gone cardio for Nunes.
Because
we almost landslided it, I think, if I remember correctly. Like 4-1. But look, in any case, Pena showed us wrong.
Yeah, I think both the
cardio.
Based on the last fight, I think that's fair.
Absolutely. And you can see it. It's quite exciting. And I feel like this time round, we thought that Pena had won the last one because she just had so much to prove. Yeah. It was really compelling. And for Nunes, she just didn't turn up. She was quite complacent. This time round, the story behind the scenes is very different. You've got Nunes who's now got to set things right. She's humbled after that loss. And she realized that she does have to put in an effort, and she now respects Pena. Yeah. And I think that's going to be a better fight this time around. Now, Pena, on the other hand, the first mum to hold the belt. Yeah. She had she's got something to hold on to. She's got a name. And I think...
And she's got a bit of a chip on her shoulder now.
She does, doesn't she? Yeah. I think the interviews, everything has come off being a champ. I think she likes his lifestyle. She does not really need to give it up that easily.
Now it's time to, almost like, really cement it and really prove herself. Because we all knew coming into this that if you're going to beat Amanda Nunes, you got to beat her twice. Yeah. Because she's had the belt for so long. Yeah. If she does it the second time, she shut the doubters up for sure.
Absolutely.
Probably. I mean, she did last time, but they're still there.
But also, it makes ways for exciting things happen in the division. Yeah. People are going to start stepping up and say, I can beat her. For sure. I can do this.
And that's what we want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know what happens when there's only one champion in the is it bantamweight division where she's on the belt at the moment? And
no she's featherweight, but there's no division.
Yeah, there's no division. I mean, you can't have a champion of no division, so I reckon it might even end up just scrapping a division if she holds the belt.
If she was to retire, yeah.
If she holds just the one belt, then they're not going to keep the division alive, I don't think.
Sure.
So yeah, a lot of things will happen. Exciting for that division if Pena gets a win. So I can imagine there's going to be a lot of support for Pena to do it again from female fighters in the division below that have previously perhaps lost to Nunes. Yep. Wanting to give it another bash. And I think for Nunes, because the last time we did talk about maybe hanging up her gloves, didn't we?
We did. Was going to happen or not? If she loses this time,
she's
maybe.
Not pressed though. She's not pressed, is she? She's got time. Yeah, she's not at all pressed.
We'll have to see.
She can stick around. But either way, it's going to be an exciting bout. I'm looking forward to catching it and every last bit of it as well.
For sure.
But I think that concludes
That's the card. That's the main card.
That's the full main card. That's it. That's what we're talking about. Pena versus Nunes. UFC 277. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. I hope you had been really talkative in the chats. Chuck your comments down there. We'll be reacting with them as well and engaging with them throughout the event, of course. And what comes next? We have the watch along.
Yep, we got a watch along this weekend. Don't forget to join us. It'll be at the usual main card slot for a pay-per-view of 3 a.m. over here in the UK. And then over in, what's in the US time?
9 p.m., I believe.
Is it 9 p.m. main card over? So it's, 10 p.m.
10.
Eastern time, 7 p.m. Pacific time. There you go. There's your times. And don't forget to hit a like on the video, of course, as well, if you've enjoyed this piece of content. And hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel.
Absolutely. And for all of you guys who keep liking our stuff, do you want anything from the corner stop?
You the best.
Absolutely. Yeah, the local ones that support. Honestly, we love and appreciate you guys. Keep up supporting because we're going some places and we'd love to take you along with us for the journey. Some exciting times to come. But for now, peace out. Stay blessed. Lots of love.
Bye-bye.